I heard you on Tucker, by the way, and it was great. I really enjoyed that discussion because you're out promoting this new show that you're about to launch. And what I gleaned from it, Billy, is that for the first time since the whole cancellation, and the viewers may remember that you got infamously canceled and just absolutely mistreated by NBC in the wake of that Access Hollywood tape with Trump breaking the October surprise in 2016. And you were kind of an innocent victim in all of that. But since then, my impression has been you haven't really wanted to go there. You haven't really talked that much about it. You wrote like an op-ed. You issued one of those, apologies that we all have to issue when we get pulled into these things. But you haven't been out there talking a lot about it. So why is that?
Well, I think everything is timing, and it's amazing that it's 8 years. I never would, because I remember after being fired in October of 2016, for 2 straight years, maybe 2.5, I was pulling my hair out. Why can't they? Let me back in. You've thrown little Dino out of the cave. Let me back in. I'm crying. I'm like a mess. I can't understand it. How could the network that raised me, how could they do this to me? This is so wrong. And it was unbearable. But then time goes on, and I'm a consumer of Stoic philosophy. There's a great book that my friend Ryan Holiday, with whom I became friends during this process. But Holiday wrote this book called The Obstacle is the Way. And this obstacle, this terrible thing in your life that you're trying to avoid and run away from, well, maybe it's the thing you need to go right through the middle. So I said, look, this hot mic thing, no. My mics, the new show I'm launching is called Hot Mics with Billy Bush, and there's a wink in there, but it's also, look, the hot mic silenced me 8 years ago. Now the hot mics are right in front of me and giving me the opportunity to present my true and authentic voice. So here we go.
Well, it sounds like for the first time you're really going to talk about everything that you've been through. And I think it's very cathartic to do it. I've been out there now talking to the extent I can, because, I'm not saying anything about my own particular situation, but many, many people who are forced out of NBC must sign non-disclosure agreements to get the money to which they are contractually entitled. It's absolutely outrageous, frankly. But, when you're talking about big dollars, you'll do it to protect your family. So many people are not at liberty to get fully into how NBC treated them like absolute shit. But you seem to be able to do it. So how is that?
I'd rather be you, Megyn, than me, because, yes, I didn't get the full control. I'm ground zero, okay? People studied me, learned from me, and then they, Brian Friedman, and honed their skills. So I think I would have rather been paid out and sit here silently. But instead, it is what it is. Who cares? Got a wonderful opportunity in front of me. All is good. I've forgiven everybody but one person. And look, it is me. It's part of my story. And what's interesting is it's never been told. When a proprietary piece of property leaks out of a major news organization, and it's something so powerful to affect a presidential election, some of their own IP is weaponized to take out a presidential candidate. That requires or calls for at least an internal investigation. Forget the external. Should we take a look at how this might have happened? Well, it would have ended in 5 seconds. So, of course, it was never launched.
They knew. Because just as a refresher, this is the tape with Trump and Billy on the Access Hollywood bus where Trump is saying you can grab him. He's talking about Nancy O'Dell, a host a long time at NBC, saying how he wanted to wine and dine her and he once took her out furniture shopping and he really wanted to sleep with her, but it didn't work out that way. But there is also a reference on there to when you're a celebrity, you can grab women by the P word, and when you're a celebrity, they let you do it, which Trump would later be asked about in his deposition in the case against E. Jean Carroll. In really it might be my favorite clip of all time, which is really saying something. Any excuse to play this clip, I will take. And here we are with the excuse right in front of us. So I will show again E. Jean Carroll's lawyer, Roberta, asking Trump about that Access Hollywood tape.
I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. Just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Grab them by the pussy. You can do anything. That's what you said, correct?
Well, historically, that's true with stars.
It's true with stars that they can grab women by the pussy?
Well, that's what it's. If you look over the last million years, I guess that's been largely true. Not always, but largely true. Unfortunately or fortunately.
Well, look.
Or fortunately, it depends.
Yeah, I when I heard here, the crazy thing is I obviously heard it then, and the tape was 2005, 11 years before the election, and he was the biggest star on NBC, and I was with him all the time. But I have no recollection of him saying that. It's always been him talking about Nancy O'Dell because she was my friend and my co-host, and that was like super uncomfortable. And I'm like, oh God, it's Nancy, yikes, yikes, yikes. And I had to find my way out of that. I don't recall the grab thing at all. And the first time I ever it resonated with me, oh wow, he said that, was sitting in the president and general manager, his office at the Today Show, about 4 days before I got fired, that Monday.
Noah Oppenheim?
Yeah, I was in Noah Oppenheim's office. It might have been Tuesday, and I got canned at the end of the week. But he played it for me. I said, "Listen, I've never actually watched or heard this tape. I just knew it was there because I reported it on the day it happened 11 years ago. But let me hear it." And when the most amazing thing is when that line came out, I was like, "Ooh!" And Noah Oppenheim laughed. The general manager of the prison laughed. I would later be fired, I guess, for laughing or not intervening or I don't know what. But he did, because it's one of those things where you don't know what to do in a moment like that but laugh.
Well, the reason he laughed is because he's a sniveling little wiener who really has no fortitude or strong character. I haven't forgiven him.
Well, in my circumstance, I haven't.
Neither does Abigail Finan. She's offside. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to tell you why. This is why I forgive him. Because I was his only hire. He was new on the job as the GM and president, and he brought me in to sort of change the 9 o'clock hour. Later, you were brought in to change the 9 o'clock hour.
By him
the first
and Lack.
Was me, and he sold it to Lack, Andy Lack, the chairman of NBC News at the time and Noah's boss, and he sold this idea to him. They hired me. Noah didn't want his only hire to get whacked, but he was new. And Andy was telling him, we whack him, we leak it, we do it. And he's looking at me going, he gave me, in retrospect, a couple of clues where he was like, hey, these things, I remember Noah saying, these things have a way of maybe coming to light when they're that, do you want to do something maybe about it? And I was just naive. I'm like, no, there's nothing you can do about that. It's a tape he didn't know he was on. No one will interview with me. No one will want to sit down with Billy Bush because he takes the preamble before the interview and weaponizes it. You can't do that to Donald Trump, to anyone, or else I'm a ruined guy as a journalist. So they told him to do it. He did it. Most people would have done, sadly, to save their own hide, what Noah did.
Well, he has no such excuses in my case. And I know you're supposed to forgive just for the sake of forgiving, but I have seen zero evidence that they seek forgiveness. And, with Steve Bannon and Trump, for that matter, over time, I was able to really contextualize their behavior and see it very differently. Those two, I mean, especially Lack, but I just see these sniveling little, tiny little men.
Yeah, no, I don't forgive Andy Lack. I said, here's another great, Noah's big of me, but what's huge of me is the original boss that I worked for 15 years as my executive producer at Access Hollywood, who ultimately sent the tape to NBC News in order to get permission to use it, to get it legally reviewed. And of course, they just took it out of his hands at that point because they felt they had a weapon. That producer, 15 years together, I didn't speak to for 2 years. He is now the producer of Hot Mics with Billy Bush, launching on Monday.
I love that. So honestly, we kicked it off with Brian Friedman, who was opposing counsel to me. He took my deposition. We were in an adversarial position. I can definitely get past negative encounters with somebody. I can get past adversarial experiences with somebody. But I just felt like what they did at NBC was so disgusting and so ruthless that I don't forgive them. And by the way, I listened to your interview with Tucker. F Craig Melvin and F Al Roker. You're wrong. Craig Melvin's not a good guy. Screw him. You may have liked him. I can't stand that guy. He begged me to come on my show. I put him on my show. Begged me to help him on his loser MSNBC show, which I did. And then the first chance he had to stick the knife in and turn it, he ran to it like, yes, a chance to dump on the new white woman who's at 9 a.m. on the issue of race, because Craig Melvin is a black man, and piled on, suggesting I had behaved racistly.
You know what? I'm going to review my forgiveness because I love you so much.
Thank you.
And if I'm you, absolutely, I understand. I get it. I'm just in the same vein of Noah. In network news, there's a lot of sheep, right? And it's like, he do it or fall out of my graces and don't rise up in the ranks. This is all stuff that goes into scripts for the morning show on Apple TV Plus. It's all true. It's so competitive and scary and backstabby and unsupportive. And, when I got to the Today Show, all I wanted was Matt Lauer to put his arm around me and say, welcome, kid. I've known you so long. I'm so glad you're here. Let's go have lunch. Be the big guy. I've done that with every new reporter that came in to Access Hollywood. I wasn't afraid that they were going to replace me or anything like that. I'm not saying he was afraid, but he definitely, soon as I got there, the energy changed, and he did not want me there.
Mm-hmm. And neither did Al Roker, who is a slithering snake of a man.
Well, they told Al the 9 o'clock hour is going to be led by Billy. He's going to welcome everybody in. He's going to do the thing. And truth be told, Noah told me, just make it to March, and then we're going to find you your partner. You have to survive till March with Al. And maybe Al got wind of it, and I didn't survive another week. Whack.
What a shock. Yeah, no, they saw you exposed and they plunged the knife in ruthlessly. It was a pattern that they would repeat. These, so-called morning show hosts who are out there so cheery and so sweet to start your day with, and behind the scenes, it is anything but. What they care about is their money and their fame. Go ahead, Billy.
But it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. Boy, they fork out a lot of money. Somehow they still have a lot of money. I don't know how long. I made it 2 months, so I never got to sniff the money. But, Lauer went to, he was a $25 million a year guy, doing morning television. It's,
people always point out the money that I got at NBC pursuant to a contract that I negotiated. But let me tell you something. I was offered more at Fox. Like I wasn't so grateful to NBC. NBC did shit for me. They didn't raise me. I raised myself over at Fox, and I could have gone to any single one of the networks. I didn't have to go to NBC. So I wasn't beholden to them for some big deal. I had big deals being offered to me by all the networks. It was just I made the colossal mistake of trusting the wrong group. And, when my show, which was a misfit, admittedly, was struggling, they never got behind me. I mean, I will say, Kathy Lee, who was the best thing at NBC as far as I'm concerned, she pulled me aside. She goes, you know how long it took for our show to hit? Kathy Lee and Hoda? 5 years. She goes, go back and look at the ratings in year 1 and 2 and 3. Absolutely dreadful, terrible. And she said it takes about 5 years for these shows to resonate. And sure enough, it's like I was 1 year into it, and I think we'll just let the audience speculate about what the real reasons were for them tanking me. Did you know that American homeowners nationwide have over $32 trillion in equity? And cyber criminals are targeting it with a growing scam the FBI calls house stealing. House alarms, doorbell cameras, deadbolts, dogs, they won't work against these thieves because they're not after your stuff, they're after your equity. If your title is not being monitored, scammers can transfer the title of your home into their name, then take out loans against it or even sell it behind your back. The best way to protect your equity is with Triple Lock Protection from Home Title Lock. Triple Lock Protection is 24/7 monitoring and, God forbid, if the worst happens, restoration services at no out-of-pocket cost to you. When was the last time you checked on your title? Likely never, right? And that's exactly what scammers are counting on. Make sure you're not already a victim, and you can get a free title history report as well as a 30-day free trial of triple lock protection today by going to HomeTitleLock.com and using the promo code Megyn, or just click on the link in the description. That's HomeTitleLock.com, promo code Megyn, HomeTitleLock.com. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.